Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez. We are officially into week 4 of the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games Open, and we have some information from on high, Tommy. This is good stuff right here.
Oh, it's real good stuff. Like all the best insider info, Sean. It came straight from the horse's mouth at a local taqueria, which is where our team bumped into none other than the Dave Castro, where he gave us a little inside scoop. Wouldn't tell us anything about the workout specifically, but he did say this. He said he was pumped because 19.4 is the one open workout he could see these Games athletes doing again at the very highest level at the Games in Madison. So
so for those of you who thought maybe things were going to get easier after 19.3, I am sorry to say they will not. This one should be very interesting. So speculate away as to what you think the workout is going to be. There are going to be 3 live announcements going on tonight from all over the world. One in Brazil at Invisio CrossFit, Guillermo Marreiros taking on Easy Mohammed. In the Netherlands, the people responsible for the Lowlands Throwdown sanctioned event, the members of Vondel Gym, the team that qualified out of the Fittest in Cape Town. They will be there for that one. And at NCR in Ottawa, Paul Tremblay taking on Pat Vellner. So a lot for you to watch tonight for 19.4. This is usually the time of the year with the Open where we start to pay attention to the bubble watch. And this year, it isn't as clear as it has been in the past. Some athletes on the leaderboard who look like they are in danger might not be, and that's because of this whole backfill process.
Yeah, and when you look at the cut line there on the worldwide leaderboard, it's easy to get caught up on that, but you have to remember the order with which these event invites as well as the qualifying spots from the Open are handed out. National champion spots go first, so there are athletes that are below that cut line that are safely in the first place for their national championship. Then you go for the top 20 worldwide. Would you backfill any national champion spots that have already been given up, which is why the cut line is down in that 30th to 31st place overall on the worldwide leaderboard, and then the sanctioned event invites get handed out. So that's the order, and it's a little confusing.
Let's start with the women's side of things, because there are 2 American women who we are used to seeing at the CrossFit Games, one who won the Open last year, who look like they are in danger, and that is certainly the case.
Yeah, Christy Eramo and Cassidy Lance McWhorter have some work in front of them. You look at their placings overall after 3 weeks. Christy Eramo is 51st worldwide. Cassidy Lance McWhorter is down near the 70s overall worldwide. And you have to look at what their points are and what the projected cut line were. These are 2 of America's best at the Games at the highest level. Cassidy Lance McWhorter won the Open last year. They're going to need about a top 5 finish the rest of the way out for Cassidy and a top 10 finish worldwide the rest of the way out for Christy if they want to get into one of those top 30, top 20 spots once things are backfilled. Otherwise, they have to start looking at some sanctioned events.
Then there is another woman who looks like she is in danger just by first glance at the overall leaderboard. That's Turi Helgadottir, right now 61st in the world. Not going to win Fittest in Iceland, but if you remember, because what she did at strength and depth, she is actually more safe than you would think.
And this just kind of hammers home the importance of every spot on the leaderboard, every event finish when it comes to some of these sanctioned events. We talked about this when it happened back in London at Strength and Depth. When Turi Helgadottir going into the final event was 6th place overall. She mounts an epic comeback, finishes the workout in first, catapults up to 4th ahead of Jessica Griffith. And if the Open ended today, because of the women that are ahead of her, Sarah Sigmundsdottir is the overall leader and going to be the national champ in Iceland right now. Jamie Green is the leader in New Zealand as well. And then you look at Danny Spiegel, who'd get a top 20 spot. That would get backfilled to Turi, and she would go right now to the CrossFit Games with the invite from Strength and Depth because of that effort.
And there's even a more extreme case of that could play out in Wodapalooza. Taylor Street is in 96 in the world. She's not going to win Fittest in the United States, but 9th at Wodapalooza, and because of the same process, she could end up going.
And that's kind of the beauty and madness of this new system, at least for this year, with the Open being kind of in the middle of the season. You look at an event like Wodapalooza, it's so top-heavy in talent with some of the top athletes in the sport. All of the 8 women ahead of Taylor Street, who finished 9th at Wodapalooza, would have a qualifying spot from the Open. So once the sanctioned event invite gets handed out, it would end up to her in 9th place, where she finished just 2 points ahead of 10th place KT Trombetta. So a 9th place finish at Wodapalooza is going to get you to the Games, and now we get to see a new athlete, Taylor Street, if she holds on and this holds up, going to the Games as a rookie.
And then you look at that event that's coming up in May, the Rogue Invitational. We know that's going to be a loaded field. You finish 12th there.
Yeah.
You might wind up with an invite. Also on the women's side, unfortunately, it looks like a couple big streaks are going to come to an end here.
Yeah, you look at the two women that have the most appearances at the CrossFit Games, BECCA VOIGT and Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, both in kind of a tough spot in terms of their overall placing, but both have some kind of reasons why the focus might be a little bit different this year. BECCA VOIGT has been dealing with a kind of devastating hand and wrist injury that kind of took her out all of the preseason leading up to the Open thus far. Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, as we mentioned in a previous show, is focusing on qualifying for the Olympics in weightlifting, so a little bit shift in focus in terms of her priorities. So even though it may not look like they could get a qualifying spot from the Open, there's still a chance from a sanctioned event. And for me, selfishly, I hope they get in because I love seeing them at the games.
Let's go over to the men's side, where the name that we've been talking about a lot that is not where we would think he would be right now and is certainly in some dire straits. Now, there's still some sanctioned events on his plate, but Brent Fikowski, as far as the Open is concerned, has a lot of work to do over these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, he certainly has his work cut out for him. Right now, if you look at the overall leaderboard, Brent's in 83rd worldwide, so well below that cut line for the men, which right now sits at about 30th place for the top 20 spots. Then you look at the national champion race for Canada, he's in 10th. And we kind of knew Brent wasn't necessarily an Open athlete, it wasn't what he excels at coming in, but still, he has his work cut out for him. He's gonna have to have a monstrous performance in 19.4 if he wants to have a shot of one of those top 20 spots, because it doesn't look like he's gonna get the Canada national champion spot. If that doesn't happen, Sean, then it's time to start shifting focus. He's already going to China, and it's gonna look like he might have to buy some insurance in lining up for another sanctioned event as well.
Noah Olson is someone we've been talking about too for a while. We spoke about him on Monday and what he did in 19.3. Certainly helped himself with that performance, but he is not out of danger yet.
Not by any means. He's actually lower on the overall leaderboard than Brent Fikowski is, but Noah has a little bit of momentum, notching some top performances worldwide in each of the last 2 weeks after kind of stumbling out of the gates in 19.1. But still, overall, statistically speaking, it doesn't look good for him. He does have the benefit of having his Wodapalooza finish in 3rd, where he might get a backfill there. But as it stands right now, it's kind of dependent on Pat Vellner. You never want to be dependent on someone else's performance. Pat Vellner isn't in the top 20 spot worldwide. He isn't in a spot to win the national champion from Canada. So potentially there could be no backfill invite. So you really kind of bank on Pat getting up into one of those qualifying spots. And if I were Noah, I'd be sending fruit baskets up to Ontario left and right, just to kind of give Vellner a little bit of a push.
There are two men who are kind of dependent on each other. Their fates are sort of interlinked as far as the backfill process is concerned, because right now they are both on the outside looking in as far as the top 20 in the Worldwide Open is. That's Willie Georges in France and Roman Khrennikov in Russia.
Yeah, and their kind of intertwinement, if you will, kind of has to do with their national champion races, as well as their performances in Dubai way back in December. So Willie right now is in this top spot for France, and Roman is in the 2nd place position for the Russia Federation. As it stands right now, they both finished 3rd and 5th in Dubai, and if the Open ended right now, Roman Khrennikov would walk away with the Dubai invite through the backfill process. But Willie is in a very close race. He's only 1 point ahead of 2nd place for the France spot. And if he loses that and he's not in the top 20, then Willie takes the backfill from Dubai. Roman wouldn't get that spot anymore, and he would have to bank on making a comeback for Russia to get his spot at the CrossFit Games, or, like some of these other athletes, start looking at some sanctioned events.
Yeah, things are going to get really interesting here over the final 2 weeks of the Worldwide Open, and then it really sets the stage for the rest of the sanctioned events heading into the CrossFit Games, and of course we will be here to bring it all to you. That's going to do it for us for today. Good luck with 19.4. If you haven't already, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to Inside Elite Fitness. You'll never miss an episode. You can also follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook, and you can subscribe to our podcast. That's Talking Elite Fitness, and you can get that on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to your favorite podcasts. For Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Good luck. We'll see you guys soon.